Hello students. So today we are going to discuss the rest of the section of the poem Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Let us start. The gaps, I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made. See, the gaps. These gaps are not made by the hunters. The hunters, in the previous lines, the hunters destroyed the wall totally. Okay, but he is now talking about the gaps. Gaps which are made by something. Something in the very, which is discussed in the very first line of the poem, that something is there, something which is the mysterious power of the nature, which doesn't like the walls. Okay, so that power has made the gaps, not the destruction which was caused by the hunters. Okay, the gaps, I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made. See, these gaps which are in the wall of the which are in the wall which is lying in the as a boundary between him and his neighbor, the gaps were made by the time. Okay, eventually they were made by the time, by the nature. So that is why no one of them, no one means here he himself and his neighbor, ever notice that these gaps are made. So these gaps were made by the time, eventually, gradually, throughout the winter season. Okay, but at spring, now he tells that the spring season has come, and as usual, the wall has a lot of gaps in it. But at spring, mending time. Spring is their mending time. Spring is the time when they repair their wall. We find them there. We. So here we is he himself and his neighbor. We find those gaps in the wall. Okay. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to talk, to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. So what the poet does is that during the springtime, he tells his neighbor that both of them, the neighbor and he himself, decides a day in the spring season on which they will mend the wall. Okay, and we here gets to know that the neighbor lives beyond the hill. Okay, see, uh, it is the poem was written in 1914. So at that time, even the setting of the poem is a rural area. So the houses are not like that uh, that we have nowadays. Okay, the houses has a lot of place, or have two or three gardens beside the house. So there is a wall which is standing, which is dividing the gardens. Okay, so this is the locality of the poem. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. See, the neighbor lives beyond the hill, and the wall is separating the lands of the poet and the neighbor. And on a day, we meet to walk the line. To walk the line here means that they walk through the line, they start from one end and walk till the other end of the wall. Uh, and set the wall. Set here means, and they repair the wall between them once again. Once again here means every winter the wall gets destroyed or has gaps, and in every spring season they repair it. Okay. Yes, the line. Now let us read the explanation. No one has till them made. It suggests that there is some mysterious power at work. So, as I have told you that in the beginning of the poem, something is written. So, something is a mysterious power that doesn't love the wall. The line here means boundary which separates the respective fields or gardens. I have told you what is the locality of the poem, that they don't have adjacent houses. There are some gardens of there, and then the garden of another of the neighbor, and then his house. Okay, we keep the wall between us as we go to each the boulders that have fallen to each. They start walking from one end and they repair the wall. The boulders which are, or the stones which fall on the side of the poet, he picks them up and places it on the wall. And the boulders or stones which fall and on the side of his neighbor, he repairs that side. Okay, we keep the wall. Keep means repair, between, which is lying between them as they go to each the boulders that have fallen to each. I have told you the boulders which are fallen on their sides, they pick them up and repair it. Some are loaves and some so nearly balls. So this is the description of stones. Some are loaves. Loaves, have you seen a loaf of a bread? It is square in shape and some swelled on the upper side. So some stones are of that shape and some are nearly balls, some are spheres. So spheres, yes. So this describes the uneven sizes of the stones. Okay. We have to use the spell to make them balance. Them here is stones, stones of uneven sizes. Now the poet describes how the task of mending the wall is hard working, is very difficult. Why? Because the sizes of the stone is uneven and it is very difficult for them to arrange those stones. So that is why he says that they need spell. They need some superhuman powers, means uh, powers that are more strong. Should have, they should be mentally more prepared, that they have to do a lot of hard work, so they need a spell. Spell doesn't mean magic. Spell here means some more efforts, okay, to make them balance, to make the stones, to place the stones in a arranged manner. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. So this is a remark which his neighbor and the poet makes on the stones. See, this is a kind of remark, as I told you. The task of mending the wall is so difficult that they make a remark and they say to stones that please be on your place till we turn our backs. Means till the process of mending the wall finishes, you just be on your place. After we turn our back to the task, means after we have finished the task, you can fall again. But please don't fall till we are doing it, till we are mending it. Otherwise, we have to place the stone again on the wall. All right. This line shows that the stones uh, do not remain on their fixed places. They fall repeatedly. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. See, again, the poet says that the task is very, very, very harsh, that that their hands become sore. Sore means aching. It means there can be some bruises on their hands, uh, which uh, these bruises happen to us, or when we pick up something very hard or very rough and tough, just like stones. Okay. Then, oh, just another kind of outdoor game. one on a side. Then the poet describes the task of mending the wall. The way they mends the wall, the way they mend the wall is a kind of an outdoor game, just like volleyball or just like badminton, when one player is on one side of the net and the other is on the another side. Okay, just like the way they are mending the wall, the poet is repairing the wall from his side by picking up the spilled boulders, and the neighbor is doing the same on the other side. Okay, it comes to little more. This line shows that the task of mending the wall, in fact, the wall is unnecessary. They don't need the wall. It is just unnecessary, uh, unnecessarily standing between them. There, where it is, we do not need the wall. He says wherever it is standing, we means the neighbor, and he himself do not need the wall. It is utterly uh, unnecessary. Now, the poet says that many times he has tried to convince his neighbor that the wall is unnecessary, and he gives the following reason. He says, he is all pine and I am apple orchard. He tells us that the neighbor grows pine trees in his part of land, and the poet grows apple trees in his orchard. Where the wall is standing, one side means this in on the side of the poet there are apple trees, and on the side of the neighbor there are pine trees. Now the poet, while convincing his neighbor, he says that his apple trees will not disturb the pine trees of the neighbor. Okay, he says my apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines. Means his apple trees will never disturb the pine trees of the neighbor. For disturbing, he has used and eat the cones under his pines. Cones are the conical fruits of pine tree. All right. So I tell him. He says, usually convince the neighbor by giving this excuse, but the neighbor replies, good fences make good neighbors. So according to the reply of the neighbor, he says that when there are boundaries between the neighbors, or when the land is undisputedly divided, then then it encourages the relationship between the neighbors. So we can here say that there is a clash between the ideology of two people. On one side, the poet says that the walls are unnecessary. They do not need any. They do not need any wall. Okay, but on the other side, the neighbor wants to secure his privacy. He doesn't want the poet to interfere in his land. Okay, that is why he says that the walls ensure good relationship between the neighbors. See, the theme of isolation is also strengthened with this point that the neighbor wants to be alone. He wants to be alienated. And the theme of boundary is here as well, that he needs boundary between the two neighbor, he himself, and the poet. All right, thank you for listening.